We're back here on Jones and Company, and we are enjoying this conversation today on agriculture and trade in the Caribbean and the extent to which the Bahamas is involved now with CARDI, that is the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, and how we are benefiting. And I believe that Godfrey Inius had a whole lot to do with getting the Bahamas in CARDI. Isn't that right, Mr. Clark?
Most definitely. His participation in the CARICOM meetings, the Council for Trade and Economic Development, the special meetings on agriculture, and him seeing what the benefits have accrued to other member states as a consequence of their relationship and thing with CARDI, I thought it was very important, I think, for CARDI to be engaged with Bahamas. And we are very glad for this opportunity to be able to say that we're embracing the Caribbean. And hopefully, ultimately, we are going to embrace Suriname and Haiti. I mean, we're working in Suriname and Haiti as we speak, though we don't have the same kind of relationship and thing, because we feel responsible that, look, all CARICOM countries and so on need to benefit in some way.
Mm-hmm. We just had Mr. Clark just met the Prime Minister yesterday. That's the first time you met him in the Bahamas. Tell him a little bit what your reaction was to
he has, to my mind, a passion and a vision for agriculture, and it's probably only matched by the president, my interactions with the president of Guyana recently, that they understand the importance of the sector to economic development and economic enfranchisement, that they understand the necessity for the sector to help us to meet issues of chronic non-communicable diseases, that we need to build capacity within each of the member states so that we can be generating intellectual property. It is not only about, whereas he speaks very strongly about showcasing international best practice, he also recognizes the importance of us being able to put on the table, put in the global arena, intellectual property as a consequence of the research and development efforts and so on, which we want to put in place. Because we will never be able to compete with the United States growing the same things and the same varieties that they grow. But if indeed we can arrive at our own unique variety of hot pepper, of sheep, of yams, that we can then put it out there, just like how Monsanto does it, and it pays for itself because we can charge royalties. But we can't do so if we don't make the necessary investments in research to develop these kinds of intellectual properties on which most of agriculture is traded these days.
You know, you can encourage people to farm, Mr. Inius, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Singh, but getting their products to market, we spoke about that earlier on. You know that in the Bahamas, we've had a whole lot of people farming tomatoes, for instance, and a whole lot went to waste. They spoil because they can't get these things to market. So tell the farmer in Eleuthera who is watching this program right now, how CARDI and BAMSI and all the rest of these alphabetical soup organizations can assist them in getting their products to market.
Let me tell you what we're doing. Let me tell you, first of all, what has happened. In the 50s and 60s, you had P.W. Albury and Sons. You had B&B. You had Sawyer's Food Products, right? We don't have one commercial food processing facility in the Bahamas. Not one. All right? What we are doing in a program called AgriVision.
And you don't have it because of bad policies.
Bad policies.
Bad policies by
successive governments.
Successive governments.
Right. What we're doing in our program, what we call AgriVision, we are going to be constructing in the infrastructure of our country processing facilities that would appeal to the small farmer. All right? we're going to have what is called community kitchens in the various locations of the family islands, so that a housewife can go to the community kitchen and process tomato jam, tomato puree, tomato juice under hygienic and food safety conditions. Because in those little family island communities, you have these boutique hotels. That is where we really talks about value added, right? And we're going to build in our packing houses, in conjunction with our packing houses, slaughtering facilities where a farmer can go and take his mutton and his pork and have it slaughtered under hygienic conditions rather than under a tree.
You showed me, Mr. Enius, a report that was done in the 70s.
On Andros.
On Andros, on other islands of the Bahamas as well. At the time when the late Carlton Francis was chairman of the Bahamas Development Corporation. We don't have a Bahamas Development Corporation anymore. And you had done a national development plan, because Bahamians believe that this is the first national development plan being done. There was a national development plan done in the 70s. And I read in that plan that the southeastern islands were best suited for the growth of pigeon peas.
Pigeon peas, actually, right.
Yes.
Right.
We don't have
1 pound of pigeon peas being produced in Mayaguana.
Not 1 pound.
Right?
Not
Acklands and these places.
Yes.
Right?
Now,
see, Mr. Clark mentioned climate change.
Yes.
All right. This is where CARDI comes in, right? We need to develop varieties that are drought resistant. Because that is the southern islands where the rainfall is not as high as in the north, right?
Right.
So this issue of science and new varieties would help us to revive pigeon pea production in those islands.
Right. So we're talking about the output of pigeon peas and the extent to which we can get people engaged in that activity in the southeastern islands. But at the end of the day, they would want to know that they can sell bushels of pigeon peas to someone, somewhere, somehow.
Right.
How can CARDI help us with that?
Well,
Assist you with production plan.
Yes.
That's where it has to start. It is not about waking up one morning and in fact, I had this experience in Barbados where, you know, in the Caribbean now, the call-in programs, the talk shows dominate the landscape. So this farmer calls in, he has 4 acres of tomatoes and he can't get them sold, and nobody will help him get them sold. Okay. And they say, okay, well, you know, you gotta call the ministry. My thesis, I'm really sorry to say, is we can't do it like that. You can't hold me responsible for marketing if you wake up one morning and plan what you feel like.
Yeah.
No. We must move toward the discipline of a national production plan. That we know there's a trigger which says, based upon the market, that this is the tomatoes that we need in January. We need 10 pounds of green and 5 pounds of white tomatoes, and that we have this being produced in the southern islands or the northern islands by John Brown. Okay? And that we have a system in place that monitors and ensures that he follows good agricultural practices, and that we pull in the data allow us to do forecasting in terms of the yield, and to make any adjustments in case the weather happens or in case there are insects. And therefore we then know what is coming on the market, and we have the markets lined up, whether it be the hotels, the restaurants, the local distributors, as the case might be. That, to my mind, is what we and the BAMC has started that process already.
Exactly. The Associated
Farmers Program. Because I was in the field today, I visited one of the associated farmers in Andros, you know, and he's doing cabbage, he's doing the ordinary cabbage, and he's doing purple cabbage, and he's doing onions, and it's in accordance with a schedule and a plan, based upon what the market signals are saying. And that's what is required.
Food security, Ms. Singh, has to do with quality control. and the extent to which things are done in a very hygienic fashion.
Yes.
All right? I need you to speak to that, because while we have pig farmers and other farmers of animals in the Bahamas, speak to the extent to which CARDI, through the instrumentality of CARDI and with your assistance, can encourage better food security.
With regard to meat production.
Yes, meat production.
Yeah. Best practices from the farm level, at the farm level. So it's assisting farmers in proper breed selection, proper housing, maintaining healthy animals, ensuring that the animals are fed proper diets, and that your slaughter practices meet international standards.
To ensure that the animals are fed proper diets. So that means that you can't give the pig anything to
That's right, because what you put in is what you get out.
Yes.
And you forgot one thing, record keeping.
Record keeping, yeah. Yep.
So people believe that they can give these animals anything to eat, and that you would have a safe, and the meat will be safe
And healthy.
and healthy. And that is not true.
It's not true. It's not true, because whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. When we slaughter an animal, we do what is known as a back fat composition index. And I can tell what you have fed your animal based on the fat deposition or the marbling within the meat, or in the case of poultry, the amount of fat.
You do that at the slaughterhouse in the Bahamas, Godfrey Ines?
No, sir.
You don't?
That slaughterhouse, there's only one approved government slaughtering facility, and that's over, must be 60 to 70 years old. From the time I was a boy, that slaughterhouse was been. I can remember, actually, I can remember when the slaughterhouse was on Woods Rogers Drive. That's before your time.
Woods Rogers Wharf.
Woods Rogers Wharf. I can remember the slaughterhouse was there, and then it was moved to where it is.
Before my time.
Yes, you bring on that.
I know. Come on, please. But anyway,
Because there's not only the issue of the slaughterhouse here, and that's all.
Yeah,
But we also have a proposal on things how we're going to deal with slaughter.
So, in the
all
islands,
of the
yes,
islands.
yes, yes.
All of the islands.
All the islands, yes.
Yeah.
how are you going to deal with it?
No, we're going to have to build facilities. We have to put in the infrastructure.
Yeah.
That is the government's responsibility. That's what he's talking about.
Affordable
Yes.
facilities.
Yes,
See, he's
that's-
talking about.
that-
See, you can't expect the small
But the
farmer.
government has priorities in terms of fiscal, what they're doing with their budgets. And you are saying it's the government's responsibility.
what I'm saying
you
is
don't
that-
have a proper slaughterhouse in New Providence.
No,
and-
what I'm saying is this, right? Mr. Clark made the point. All the investment made in tourism in Barbados, right? We have to make similar infrastructural investments in the agricultural sector. You cannot expect a small farmer, right, or a group of small farmers to construct a proper slaughter facility. That is the government's job to provide the infrastructure. That is my view.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Ines. We're saying it's good to have you in the Bahamas, and you're going to be resident in North Andros, right? Very good. And so we expect great work from you in North Andros, and healthier goats and whatever else, ruminants you call them, eh? Thank you so very much for being here again.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Bahamas and so on, for hosting CARDI and receiving CARDI in such good faith. Thank you.
Thank you. Katrinas, bring good guests always. Thank you so very much. Thank you for watching and listening to our program today. Good evening, everyone.